how do you set up the people function across various stages of the company?
So let's understand the entire people supply chain, and then we'll go into what to pick up from that at every stage. So first, it starts with the founders and the leadership team coming together and saying, who are we, what do we do, and how do we do it? How do you want to go and achieve it, and translate that into the skills, the experience and seniority that you need to go and deliver. So that translates into tangible sort of skill set, right? Where you can mathematically derive saying, this is what I need to do in X number of years or months or whatever. And therefore, what experience will I need? When you don't have the time, you go after people who've done this in the past. And therefore, that's how your tenure gets defined in terms of experience. When you have the time, your pyramid can be slightly flattish, where you've got more junior people with a few senior people on the top guiding and coaching the team, right? So that's where the people function sort of comes in and says, okay, these are the skill sets. Then comes the operating model, and this is again one of my favorite words, and now I teach it to everybody. Once you have the skill set, then you need to understand how do they operate. You'll have a bunch of people, again, not over-indexing on process, but saying, okay, you've got a grouping of skill set, right? Each grouping now has a defined sort of vision to further and a metric to sort of further. But how do they operate amongst one another? If you're not defining what the shared metrics and targets for those people are in terms when you're building up the org design, you'll find that there are conflicts and these random unnecessary things that will come in your way of just focusing on what you're supposed to do and harmony of how people operate. So operating model is very important. So the first discipline is org design and development. Once you've done that, and once you've baseline saying what do you need, right? You've got to acquire that talent or build that talent internally. So the first prong of that is hiring or talent acquisition. That's a second discipline. And the third discipline is L&D, which is learning and development. And again, L&D itself is like a vast topic, and it solves different purposes. It sort of helps into succession planning. It helps in leadership development, has of folks, it has opportunity of cross-skilling and all of that, right? So that's your third thing. Once you've got that, you go and get them in. And that's where the people experience starts saying, how is the pre-onboarding experience and why would people join you? How do you get them excited? How do you engage with them so that, the right talent and good talent always will have multiple sort of options, but why do they choose you? Ensuring that their sort of onboarding experience is great and they have everything to sort of go and deliver from day one. So that's your people experience, onboarding. So the onboarding experience has to be very, very customized. Then, of course, comes the whole piece of goal setting and sort of giving them a direction. Now you've got these people, you've got to align them towards something. It has to be very intentionally done. Else you'll have, a bunch of people with great talent and you're not properly utilizing them or not aligning them to the purpose, right? So that's the second part of it, where you tell them, hey, now you're in, we set expectations in terms of, well, this is what we expect out of you and this is what we're doing as a company and what's your story in this. Then, of course, comes evaluation. That's another big demon in itself. And, how do you evaluate people? So there are two ways. Once you're just doing evaluation, or you want to create a culture of ongoing feedback, which is much more difficult to do, right? And if you want to create an organization where there is a culture of ongoing feedback, you have to sort for culture and trust. And while you're doing all of this, you also have to engage people, ensure that you understand every person is motivated very, very differently. So how do you test for that motivation when you're hiring them, and how do you ensure that you're catering to that when they're in? How do you align their personal aspirations and development needs or professional development needs to the company aspirations? How do you ensure that you're truly unleashing their potential? How do you giving them an environment where they can truly thrive? So that's your people experience. Then comes the entire total rewards mechanism thing. How do you now recognize, reward, appreciate, express gratitude for everything that people are doing for you? Ultimately, you can have a great vision as a founder, but if you don't have these people constantly furthering your vision, and if they don't feel appreciated for it, then there's no way that you can unleash the potential that we've been talking about. So I think that becomes a very, very important part. Then as you scale comes people tech. How do you operate? How do you sort of automate a lot of repetitive manual task, which does not really require human intellect? You have to truly use a good thinking people team. You have to give them enough information and data to act on and get them to focus on the right things rather than getting paperwork done. All of that is automated through tech these days. And it's, of course, an advent of AI is now solving a lot more than what a simple tech solution had done earlier. Then comes people analytics, which is drawing, when you're operating on a system and you're churning all of that data, how do you take data-backed decisions and draw insights from it? And then is culture shaping and transformation, because at every stage of the company, the kind of behaviors that you would need from your people and, the behaviors that you want exhibited is going to be very, very different. It's going to evolve as you evolve as a company. It may change as you change strategies, right? So I think, so that's your entire people supply chain. So now if you go back to your first question on, hey, what do you need and how do you learn people function? It's about getting exposure to all of this one by one, and then understanding what resonates with you, where you shine, and then ensuring that you have understanding of all of them, but you also have immense depth in at least one of these disciplines.
So I'll just summarize what we covered, right? So first is founders coming in, setting the vision. Yeah. And once you've set the vision, then ideally people team or people leader getting involved in the OD. Right? You realize, okay, these are the people we need, these are the skills we need, and this is our operating model. I'll ask about, we'll double click on operating model, setting up what the operating model is. And then you have the people, the talent acquisition team who's coming to acquire, or you groom people, which is your L&D to fill in what you've identified. And then the fact you have to bring them on board, pre-onboarding, and then giving them a great experience. That's where the people experience comes in. And then, of course, setting them goals, giving them a direction, and then evaluating them, which is performance appraisals. And then, of course, getting the best out of people, getting their full potential, motivating them, again, a part of people experience. And monetary and recognition is one of those. So that's where your rewards come in. And then, of course, there's tech, automation, followed by analytics. If you don't have tech, if you don't have all of these processes, you're not going to really have analytics, right? And they all flow together. And last one is the culture shaping and transformation. Wow, great. We will codify